So if you're here in Arizona, things feel crazy. People feel like the sky is falling and what's happening in the market. So we're going to talk about today our monthly update, what's going on in the market with interest rates, inflation, lots of different things, inventory. We're going to talk about all that stuff today. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Real Talk Real Estate. I'm your host, Mark Cannon, local realtor here in the Phoenix area with my home group real estate and owner of the Benchmark Real Estate team. So today we're going over what's happening in the market, our monthly update, our market trends, what's happening. Because a lot of people, if you're looking at social media, if you're looking at the news, people are like, it's crashing and burning, it's all on fire. And I get it. Things feel very unaffordable, and they are very unaffordable. You know, whether property taxes go up or whatever it is, you know, things are very unaffordable to buy a home right now, especially if you're looking above the median, like the median's around 450. So if we're looking above that, yeah, it's very unaffordable. And even underneath that, it can be very unaffordable depending on what you do. So it's one of those, I get a lot of people feel that way. And I agree, like things are unaffordable and prices are finally starting to come down. And we're starting to see that. And I'll show you a chart for that here in a little bit. But yeah, things being unaffordable is a matter of, okay, we need something to change. Now, there's a lot of people out there talking about a crash. I'm going to be releasing a video, I think it's next week, talking a little bit about that because I'm looking at actual data and I see what people are out there saying and I understand it, and we're going to parse it and just kind of break it down a little bit. So that's next week. But we're going to talk through where we stand right now. And I will tell you, inventory is rising. Supply and demand is real estate, right? Real estate is local. It's not national. Because here's the thing. Florida, Texas, Arizona, we're gaining inventory like crazy. But there's other places that are not. Idaho, have a client going there. Inventory is not a problem. They have a demand problem. They have a lot of demand out there. Ohio, demand. Virginia, demand. New Jersey, demand. So again, real estate's local, it's not national. But let's talk about Arizona. So where do we stand right now? Remember, our normal market for us is somewhere between 20 to 25,000 homes on the market. That's normal. And right now we're now above, I believe, here I'm going to be looking at my screen. So we're above 25,000, almost 26,000. So last month we were around 25,000. So we've come up 1,000 in a month. And what that is we have a lot of listings still coming on and just not as many people buying because of the prices. So again, I have said this, I think prices are going to continue to come down until interest rates continue to come down and they meet a happy medium where things are more affordable. Now, maybe not more affordable for everybody, but more affordable for a lot of the people that are waiting. So it's one of those that, for me, I think it's the market's correcting. Now, a lot of people say it's crashing and falling, and there's always potential for that if the government gets involved and does something stupid. But it's one of those that is right now, per the data I'm looking at, we're in a correction because we've been going up, and now we're coming back down. Real estate is cyclical, right? So some of the other information we're going to look at real quick. So obviously I showed you how many homes are on the market. Let's look at inflation real quick. Let's talk about inflation. Inflation is coming down, which is a great thing. You know, with a lot of the things that are cutting in the government, a lot of different things that are happening in the markets, inflation went from 2.8 to 2.4%. That's great. The last time we saw that, I believe, was last year. Yeah, on that chart was last year, September. And then that's when we started coming back up. So going down like that was great. And we'll find out again next month where it is now. Hopefully we can get down near 2%. Because that's the goal, is 2% or lower. That's the goal. When we talk about interest rates have kind of gone all over the place. As you can see on this chart, interest rates were coming down and we got down to 6.6% conventional and then it jumped back up. And a lot of that had to do with, you know, obviously with the different tariff things going on, everything like that, there's a lot of uncertainty. So the 10-year treasury kind of was all over the place too. So I'll show you this chart of the 10-year treasury. And that's what interest rates follow. So like I know everybody talks about the Fed and you know the rate cuts. Mortgages don't follow that. They follow the 10-year treasury typically. So when we're looking at the 10-year treasury, that's what's going to dictate if mortgages are going to go up and down. So we need it to come down. But it's one of those that with a lot of the uncertainty, it's kind of fluctuated because it did come down with a lot of the tariff stuff and then it jumped back up and now it's coming back down again. So the hope is by the end of the year, we'll be in the low sixes. That's the hope. At least that's conventional. FHA would then be in the mid fives, which would be more affordable for a lot of people. So it's one of those that interest rates need to keep coming down, but they're not right now. So, all right, you know, where does that leave us? So let's look at some of the prices and everything. So let's look at the Cromford report real quick. I'll put this up on the screen so you can see it. So the Cromford report is showing you these markets. Remember, between 90 to 110 is a balanced market. Anything above 110 is seller's market. Anything below 90 is a buyer's market. Now, I disagree with the data somewhat because when I look at a lot of these markets, like, yes, okay, I think anything probably 90, I'll say 100 and above is a balanced market at this point. Maybe Chandler's still pretty aggressive and hot. So that's a good thing, at least for Chandler. And some of those other markets, like Paradise Valley, stuff like that. Yeah, they still probably have decent markets because those people have cash. But when we're looking at a lot of these others, especially the outskirts, Queen Creek, Surprise, Buckeye, Goodyear, they're all in heavy buyers markets. Peoria's there, Glendale. We're looking at a lot of places being in buyers markets where now there's a lot of competition, and what are sellers willing to give up, right? So, and the other thing too is, again, if you have a really nice home, the home will typically sell pretty quickly. If it's been updated in the past 5 years, it'll sell fairly quickly, typically. But if it's all original, it's going to be hard. You got other homes like that on the market. So I'm doing a video also. I'll be releasing this here soon about why sellers are struggling right now and the mindset of it, because there's so many things. Like, for instance, when you have an AC that's 20 years old and a roof that's 20 years old, buyers don't want that because they can find homes that don't have that, or people are willing to give them new ones. So it's one of those, that's what happens in a buyer's market. But here's the monthly median sales price. So when we look at the monthly median sales price, this is as of 4/15, so today, you can see in this chart that it's been coming up. It went down a little bit there in 2023, and then it came up and went down in 2024, and then we kept coming up, and now we're starting to decline heavily in this buyer's market. I would expect that to continue because now, again, if you look at that jump, it's from 460 to 450, the median sales price. So it's come down about 10K. I would guess in a correction, we're coming down farther. And again, this is where a lot of people, you have to define what is a crash, what is a correction. Like if you looked up on Grok or ChatGPT or something, they'll tell you that like a crash is typically like 33% or more. And so that's where I'll be doing a video on this and talking about crash stuff. So if you want to watch it, watch next week. But for me right now, we're in a correction. We're seeing it correct. Unless something drastic changes, we're in a correction. And sellers are going to have to get ahead of it. Like, people want to price their homes too high, and they shouldn't be doing that because the homes are going to sit. You got to be, if it's about speed, you really got to make sure you price it well. So if you are thinking about buying or selling, or you have questions, or you're not sure what's going on, let me talk to you. I'm here to help. I'm here to be transparent with you. It's real estate through relationships. That's how I do this. Because for me, it's about taking care of you as a client. So whether you're one of my clients watching or a potential client, I would love to talk with you about this. But this is kind of what the market data is going on. If you want more specific cities, if you're like, hey, I want to know about this city, let me know. I'd be more than happy to do a video for you individually, so that way you can see that. My information is below. I hope you'll reach out. Guys, you've been listening to Real Talk Real Estate. I'll catch you next time.